Let me start by asking you, a wonderful tribute tonight to your father, but it must be a little bit bittersweet him not being here.
Well, seeing him on film and hearing his voice makes me miss him. But I'm reminded what a great father he was and how much fun he had coming to these conventions for so many years. He would come every 4 years. People would look forward to his speeches here because they knew he would get the crowd fired up. He would remind everybody why we were Democrats, and he was really the soul of the party in many ways. So we miss him terribly. But we're glad for the great memories that being here brings us.
Congressman, I remember 4 years ago, of course, your father was battling brain cancer, and there was some question about whether he would be able to make the trip, and of course he did, and he brought down the House.
Well, he always did, and that was emblematic of who my dad was, always a fighter, personally persevering in his own life, losing his brothers, losing other siblings, always fighting a fight. And he always did it because he was trying to fight for people who didn't have a voice. And that's what we loved about him so much, is that he included people, and that's what our party stands for. And that's why I love to see the tribute of him tonight. Really, the party's work today of including people was his work, and as he said, the cause continues and endures, and the dream shall never die. So he's passed on, but his legacy lives on, and obviously you saw my nephew Joe tonight did a terrific job, and he's certainly going to be a shining star in our family in the future.
I was just going to ask both of you about that. Now you have another Kennedy who is making his first run for Congress, Joe Kennedy III, who is a prosecutor in Massachusetts. What's kind of the latest on that race?
Well, you never know in politics, of course. But Joe is a very impressive young man, really able, very smart, former prosecutor, as you mentioned, very well spoken, as you saw tonight at the podium. And I think carrying on the family tradition of fighting for the underdog. That's what we grew up in giving back to this great country of ours. And it's not surprising that people like Joe and other members of my family wanted that opportunity to serve.
Mm-hmm. Congressman, I have to ask you, because I know you have been counseling Congressman Jackson, who has been dealing with some issues. You met with him. How is he doing?
He's battling a very serious illness. It's called depression. Many Americans face it, and he's getting treated for it. And we shouldn't, stand up against him because he's doing something that's about his health. But unfortunately, mental health is often stigmatized in this country. And he believed that it's kind of another civil rights fight, because he's and his family have stood up for civil rights. And he doesn't like the notion that mental health, just like a generation ago, is segregated in our country, that it ought to be whole health and the whole person ought to be treated. And he's learning that through his own experience. And he's looking forward to getting out and carrying on the fight in this new fight for mental health being treated equally. And I love him for it. All of us who are in recovery know that we all help each other, and I'm honored to be a friend of his, and I know he'll be a friend to many others in the future.
Well, it's great to talk to both of you, and Congressman, you just have to show, I think we can see the shot of your little son. Congratulations.
Owen, the newest member of the family, and he's in his onesie, future president. Not like we're putting any pressure on him at all.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Great to see you guys. Great to see you.